Welcome to the Windy City Bender Podcast with your hosts, Nolly, Poetzy, and Jarom.
What's up, everybody? Episode 13. Zach, you lucky number, bud.
13's best.
Excited?
13 is best.
I mean, it's not 16, but I mean, I don't want to get into that.
It is 3 spots higher than 16. It is best.
Who said?
So you hear the guy that's pumping up the number 16. That's Mr. Dice Reyes. Dice, thanks for coming on. Vito did such a great job last episode that we thought we're going to replace him. So we replaced him with Dice.
You know, it's a pleasure being on here. I'm finally catching up on all these episodes. I admit it. I'll admit it. In the beginning, I was a little skeptical. I was just like, I don't know if they're gonna be that good. And I'm not just being a dick, because that's obviously my side name, yeah, of course. But it's like I was just like, I don't know. And like I've finally been catching up, and like I'm already all caught up. And you guys do good.
Hey, thanks.
It's fair.
And like you're doing even better now that I'm on here. But besides the point.
Hey, Dice, you're talking about your side name. What's your real name?
It's Dice.
I'm sorry. What's on your birth certificate?
Dice.
Yeah, all right, whatever. We'll say.
I don't know. My birth certificate does say Dice on it.
It does say Dice.
Fun fact, Dice is the captain of the Windy City Bender hockey team.
Yes.
That is me.
So he is the
He gave us the blessing to use the name for the podcast. So.
I did. I mean, I figured you guys earned it.
Yeah. Oh, hey, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, another day without Nolly. It's starting to sink in that.
Yeah, I'm pretty salty that he's just sending all these pictures of
dude.
He Snapchats,
so
Instagram, Twitter,
Florida right now.
It's so hard. It's
even
so,
when it's raining, it looks good.
I know.
I'm just like,
it's so hard to be pissed at him, but because it's like, oh, it's so gorgeous, but it's like, then when he sends a couple of them drinking beers on the beach, Ferda. That's not Ferda at all. Ferda would be all of us there with you.
It's Ferna.
Enjoying those.
Ferna.
I mean, it looks beautiful over there, and I mean, obviously we're all jealous.
No. Well, Nolly, can't wait to have you back for the next one, bud. We got a big day today. A couple trades happened today. We'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Going to start out with some Hawks talk. Then go into a couple of trades that happened. Look into free agency. We have a caller today, you guys. We have a legitimate caller whose name is not Tanner, and we're using a device that actually lets us talk to them from the phone, so we don't have to hold it up to the phone.
So fingers crossed, it turned out awesome.
Yeah, no kidding. It's Chris Cimoch, RMU legend, number 4, in your minds and in your hearts.
Not just an RMU legend. I feel like he is a Orland Park, Arctic Ice Arena.
Honest to God,
St. Rita,
Illinois legend.
Yeah, Illinois.
Like, I went to a bar one time and I had my Sandberg jacket on, my Sandberg coaching jacket on, and some guy came up to me. He's like, "Do you know Chris Cimoch?" I was like, "Yeah, I know Chris. I coach with him." He's like, what a guy!" And then he sat down next to me. We talked for 15 minutes. He bought me like 3 drinks. I was like, "Thank you, Chris. That was great."
You start saying Chris Cimoch more
Yeah,
bars.
Yeah, dude.
Walking the bar. Hey, anybody know Chris?
I know Chris Cimoch.
I got stories.
But
no.
Oddly enough, when I say that and women are around, I get shit thrown in my face. So, Chris, we have to talk about that. I'm not sure what you did.
That kind of goes against what I was going to say. I played with him in Vikings, and he was probably one of the nicest people I think I've ever played with. I mean, including present company.
I've always played against him. I never played with him. I was either like with St. Rita, I was with Carmel, and then...
Yeah, how'd those games go? Were those heated a bit or no? Or did they just, run you guys over?
Well, they were always heated, they packed house and stuff like that. So it was always like the rivalry with the
Catholic League battle.
Yeah, Catholic League battle was always Rita Carmel. So it was like he was always, obviously he was like top scorer in the league and stuff. And I was a defenseman trying to like slow him down at least. But
and how'd that go?
Yeah, I mean, it had its days.
We played our first Catholic League game at Sandberg against him with my 4 years there. Oh God, we just got shat on, and it was like I think it was like 12-0, and it was 9 goals from Cimoch and 3 assists on the other. I mean, it was ridiculous.
I remember there was one game. It was my junior year, so it had to be his senior year. We were playing against Rita. I remember vividly. We were in the champ rink, and he had gotten a breakaway pass.
Game over.
And yeah, he came in and he scored on me. And I remember watching him curl off over to the stands, and I remember he passed someone who had a sign that said Cimoch #1, and I was just like, this kid's a superstar. I just got scored on by Sidney Crosby, I think.
When he comes in, don't you think of like Goldberg from Mighty Ducks a little bit? Like, just take the net, just get out of the way, and just, I'll save myself the embarrassment, and you get your goal.
I figured it out. I figured him out.
When you have a sign in high school, and if he was saying Cimoch #1, that's a fucking big deal.
It's a huge deal.
I remember going to the Blackhawks game, and he was like honored for like Player of the Year. I had no idea. I'm just like,
of course he did.
Player of the Year, Chris Cimoch. I'm like, what the what?
Yeah. All right, enough pumping Cimoch
Yeah.
tires. He's gonna get too big.
His tires are pumped too much.
His head's gonna get-
And let's not the biggest point. He
looks
is
like
the second coming of Phil Kessel.
Yeah.
He looks exactly like Phil.
His head is gonna get so big that he's not even gonna look like he's got any hair on his head anymore. So. Dice, we ask all of our newcomers what their favorite hockey memory is. So, how about you hit us with your memory?
Oh boy, I mean,
Vito went with a cop out of Nationals 2014. If you went with that too, I wouldn't be too
of
upset.
course he would. I mean,
Don't go with that. Let's hear something new. I'm tired of hearing about your Bobby Moe stories.
Hey, Bobby Moe's stories are good.
Fuck you guys and Bobby Moe.
Bobby Moe's stories are legendary.
They're legendary, but I feel so excluded from
We
that,
need to get
so
Bob McGeever on the show. We need to put like maybe an X-rated.
That would
on
be
the-
probably like a 3-part episode.
It would have to be.
I don't know if that'd be safe.
No.
That'd be like
But-
almost probably 2-3 weeks worth of content right there.
Because he's got some
And
stories.
that's just 2 or 3 weeks of you editing, I think.
I think so, yeah. Like oh man, the kid, great stories.
If I had to come up with, probably my best memory was in Nebraska that was regionals, right?
That was regionals, yeah.
Yeah, and we were playing. Was that Northern Colorado?
Yeah.
And
You saved the day.
yeah, I don't even know. To be honest, like there's things that like I don't know. I've always like had a knack for doing like some weird shit. Like when I play defense, like I'll find ways to get it done. And it's like I don't know how I did it, but it was tied, right? The score was tied.
No. We were up 3-1, close. We were up 3-1, but there was like 2 minutes left, and they had pulled their goalie, and they were pushing.
Yeah, they were coming
real
hard.
They were
Yeah.
pushing real hard. I think they might have even had a power play.
I want to say they did, but
Yeah.
I don't know who was in the box and whoever
Yeah.
it was.
It was
you
probably
know,
Shake.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I just
So-
remember that, like, when all that's happened, like they're coming hard, and then out of nowhere, like they get a shot on goal, and like, I think they were just whacking at it, weren't they?
No, it ramped. It went off my stick, off my head, straight up in the air.
Yeah, and then it was coming down, and my first instinct is just it can't go in the net, so it was coming down, and it was up in the air, and then it just went straight down to the goal line, and all I remember is I just like dove into it and like put my hand, like I scooped it with my arm, because obviously
Where did it go?
because obviously you can't freeze it. I scooped it and I kind of just like slapped it out almost with like my forearm, because I didn't want to touch on my hand, because
Yeah.
I was like I didn't want to get called for like a penalty shot.
Yeah.
Because I've been fun of penalty shot in regionals, so I was like I'm not gonna do that. So I just like
Yeah, you guys just waited for Nationals to give me 2 penalty shots in 2 straight games.
yeah whatever.
But let's not do it in regionals.
Let's just make it interesting. But so I scooped it out, and then it like went out, and then like to this day, like my dad says, he's like, you know that went in, right? I was like, I was clearly on the goal line.
I've shown you the video of that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I have a video of that play, and it's perfect. A perfect view. You see it drop on the goal line, and Dice swipes it up before it goes fully across.
Yeah.
Unreal. Save the day.
If anybody's gonna know if it went in or not, it's the guy who's right in front of it. Obviously, I was there.
And that's why you pay defensemen, you don't pay goalies.
Exactly.
I made 57 saves that day, so you can suck my left nut.
But you make 57 saves, but that 58th could have changed the momentum. They could have scored. If it wasn't for me playing great defense, the defense also wins championships, and we won the regional championship to get to nationals. If it wasn't for our defense and me saving that goal, we don't go to nationals.
If it wasn't going to make
Okay.
a noise, I'd say Dice, take that mic off and just drop it. But let's not do that.
I could get into a battle with you, but we're gonna wait. You and I have a battle coming up.
We do have another
have a
battle.
battle
and
coming
I'm
up.
saving.
You know
I'm
what?
saving all my ammunition for that.
We're about almost a month away from Boys Weekend at the lake. I think we can do a couple special episodes up there, and you guys can have a battle and part of it. And I think, you know what? August, we'll do.
I'm just getting into fights with everybody, I think.
Oh God,
I have no problem defending my decor. Like I'll defend any defenseman in the league, unless your name is Zdeno Chara.
Dude, these
That's
boys.
a solid point. I
Yeah,
can.
I will not defend that guy at all.
Yeah.
These boys weekend shows are turning out to be fucking fantastic,
Yeah, I know.
and I cannot wait now.
Yeah. All right, let's get started here, folks. Article came out. The good old Vito Bruno sent it to us for today. So thank you, Vito. Basically, yeah, you want to go ahead and
I'm
say
trying
it
to
because
pull it up.
I'm still a little foggy on the details.
All right, so it comes from thescore.com, and there was an article talking about 3 teams that are entering free agency in a tough financial situation. And it goes about, obviously, the first team's on the Hawks. Goes through all the blah blah blah. You know, they don't have the pieces. They like to trade these big contracts, like how we traded Teravainen with Bickle, blah blah blah. We don't have that this year. The interesting thing that is mentioned here, and we're looking to verify it and see if this is true or this has been set out, and I haven't found anything yet. But it was saying that once the Blackhawks are under the salary cap, they can place Hossa on long-term IR.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't verify that. We can't confirm that that's true. There's no
What
source.
we had heard before was the Blackhawks have to wait until the day after regular season opens.
Yeah, and
Day 2 of the regular
and that's what's
season.
been
Day 2 of the regular
speculated. That's
season.
what's been out there the last
Right.
few weeks. Like once they first released the whole thing about Hossa,
Right.
like that's what's been talked about. And this came out, and it's like,
So if this is true,
We make that trade with.
that's a break and a half.
We make
Oh,
that
yeah.
trade with Vegas.
That's a break
with-
and a half
for
for the
Kruger.
Hawks. Yeah.
We are about between $100,000 and $200,000 under the cap.
if we're
Hossa goes on.
If
that's
we're being
5.25.
Sam Gagne.
if we're being honest here, we all know that the Hawks always get the breaks when it comes to the cap.
Yeah.
When it comes to finding ways to get it under the cap, like Bowman always finds
That's
a
what
way.
Bowman's good for.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Stan Bowman guy, but he always. It might not be Bowman. It might be
I think it's
someone on his staff.
I think it might be his dad.
It's his
Yeah,
dad. Me and my dad always talk about that, and it's like Bowman, like I feel like you can only give him so much credit. Like obviously, like he finds a way to get it done, but it's like when your dad is Scotty Bowman,
Yeah.
when you're one of the greatest coaches ever.
most decorative coach
Yeah,
in NHL
like-
history.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you're Scotty Bowman, and it's just like there's a lot going into the decisions that are being made by Stan, and I just feel like there's only so much that he knows, like he's been with his dad like his whole life, obviously, but it's just like I feel like it's just there's a lot more that Scotty does that we don't see,
Right.
and I feel like Scotty definitely has a lot to do with that
Yeah.
that cap stuff.
Yeah. Whoever it is does a great job.
Oh, of course.
Finding those loopholes, finding those small rules that nobody really even looks at and brings it to their benefit and stuff like that. So, kudos to the Hawks front office for that. But yeah, that is huge for the Hawks if they're able to get Hossa on
Yeah.
long-term IR before.
If that pans
season
out,
starts.
that'd be great.
That would be great.
The downside, though, to that, though, is we will not get deadline cap flexibility.
Are they gonna need it though? Are the Hawks gonna need it?
If we get the right guy before the season starts, we
Exactly.
might not need that.
Here is what I think. Okay, I'm on the assumption that this is true. They move Kruger. They're under the salary cap. Boom. Hossa goes on long-term IR. They get that 5.25. I believe they should still move Anisimov if the availability, the want is still out there for him. If there's been rumors that he's been linked to Vegas, Montreal, if that is true, I say you move him because then you have just about under $10 million to work with. That will make a huge difference, and that will definitely take care of trade deadline and where you can maybe pick up a small player, a key guy, a charity case that's on like a cheap contract kind of thing. That would be my opinion. I mean, I know which probably look stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's how I would see it.
I feel like where we're at is like we don't have to get rid of Anisimov. I would like to, just because his face-offs are not good at all. Like his numbers have been diminishing tremendously. Last season he wasn't good at all.
Yeah.
Like he was good for like maybe like 1 or 2 good faceoffs a game. And when I say good faceoffs, I mean like critical faceoffs in the D zone, and the puck needs to get out.
Well, look at the playoffs.
Exactly.
I think our only decent faceoff guy in the playoffs wasn't it Caro?
Yeah, I mean,
And he's gone.
Yeah. Well,
Or no, he's not gone.
Kane was at 100%.
Oh yeah. No, Mott was who we traded to Columbus. My bad.
Yeah.
yeah, Mott.
All right. So saying Hossa does go on the long-term IR before.
Are you tinkering and cap friendly?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
looking
I'm just about to do that.
looking for a tweet from Mark Lazarus, but I can't quite find it. Say the Hawks put him on long-term IR. They've got for the first line Panic, Taves, and Saad.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Love that. They, for the time being, have Kane, Anisimov, Schmaltz. And then the third and fourth line are kind of just a mess of shit.
I mean, obviously,
Anistomov said that was if we kept Anistomov.
if we keep Anisimov second line,
right.
But I mean,
So-
from what's speculating, it looks like Anisimov might go, and we might get Gagne in that spot.
Are the Hawks going to look for Gagne, or are they going to look for Galchenyuk?
There's been talk about Galchenyuk a lot.
If you move,
If
if
you-
you move Anisimov,
If you have that,
and you lose Hossa's contract,
I think
both are realistic.
Galchenyuk, go both?
I think both could be potentially realistic because
Weren't we saying that Gagne was making, 4 point something with
4.8, but if it all
and then
depends on what.
Galchenyuk's going to be looking for a good sum of money.
Do you think Galchenyuk though might want to sign a bridge deal?
You
He kind of his numbers went down a little bit, so he's obviously not going to get as much as he probably initially thought he was going to get. So he might look for that bridge deal to kind of prove himself.
Yeah, his numbers were down, but he's also on Montreal, a team that's literally got zero offensive talent, minus Max Pacioretty and Galchenyuk. I mean, Brendan Gallagher could be a threat, but he's hurt half the time.
And that's the thing I was talking about. Is like I really, out of all the guys that are available for like a center spot, I would really want Joe Thornton. I know that's not realistic because they're saying that he's probably going to LA because he wants to stay close to home because it's his kids. Because obviously they're from San Jose, so his kids are in school, all that stuff. So he wants to stay close, so LA is close. But it's like I feel like Joe Thornton in that center spot, that 2 spot, would be perfect for the Hawks.
Do you think he's going to put up points, though? I mean, look what he did with San Jose last year. I mean, he couldn't do shit.
But it's like when you're playing, but that's the thing, like it's who he's playing with. San Jose, he didn't have the best of players he's playing with.
Wasn't he with Pavelski?
Okay, but you're playing with Pavelski, but here in the Hawks, he's probably going to be playing with Kane, Saad, Taves. I mean, these are world-class players. I know Pavelski is in his own right, but at the same time, it's like I know our power play struggles every year.
He would be great.
That's what I'm saying. He would the power play alone. Obviously, 5-on-5, he needs to do good. But our power play alone would improve so much more, and especially adding a better power play coach that we added this year is definitely going to help. And Joe Thornton around that would be even better. But I know that's not realistic. But hey, you never know.
You were saying you're on the same boat as me. Sorry to switch topics, but you're saying you're on the same boat as me with Mike Kitchen, right? Not a fan?
Oh, Mike Kitchen. The only reason why I'm not a fan with him is because of the power play. I feel like the power play never got better with him.
I agree.
As coaching, and I feel like Bowman and I know Q liked Kitchen, but at the same time he knew that the power play and Q doesn't really from what I know. Obviously, we don't know Q like man to man, but it's like. From what I've heard is that he doesn't really have much say in the power play. He leaves that up to his assistants. Obviously, he has a say in the lineup, but for the most part, what's going on with the like if they're going to run the umbrella, the overload, or whatever they decide, like he doesn't really have much say into that. He leaves that up to Kitchen then, but now, and it just wasn't getting the job done. Like I know we win cups, and 13 obviously, and 15, but it's like the power play still wasn't good then. And it really hasn't been that good for a while. And I feel like they understood that. Obviously, like Kitchen, he wasn't a bad guy. Like he was a great guy.
He was
but,
a cute guy.
But
I mean,
exactly.
I think that's why he was around
exactly.
as long as he was.
But the power play it was never getting better. And it's like, that's huge. Your power play needs to be good to win games.
Looking at Galchenyuk's Hockey DB page, Summers were down, but to be fair, he also was out. He missed 21 games. He was, I believe,
What
it
were
was injured.
his final numbers? Can you remind me?
17 goals, 27 assists, 44 points, 24 penalty minutes, and he was a -5.
61 games, you said?
Yes.
That's not that good.
And
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible,
It's not terrible seeing... It'd be terrible if he was playing on the Hawks. That would be terrible. Because he's one of the only offensive producers on Montreal. I feel like you have to put that in kind of a perspective.
Yeah, I just feel like it's not like jumping off the page to the point where like teams should be like saying, "Oh, hey, I need Galchenyuk." It's just like, and that's what I was saying. Like everybody was saying, "Oh, Galchenyuk's available." I'm like, okay, like
he goes on these weird streaks where he's just untouchable.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely untouchable. There was a game they went to overtime. I think it was against Columbus, and he let a bomb from the point go, and it literally it left his stick, and he turned around to go celebrate. It was an overtime game winner. Yeah. Because it's as soon as it left his stick, he knew it was in. I was like, that was sick.
Yeah, he has a sick release.
In 10 games.
He plays both center and left wing. He's only 23 years old.
Which actually is very helpful for the Hawks that he's...
And he's from Milwaukee.
Is he really? I keep forgetting that.
I always forget he's local.
American-born guy.
It's almost...
I knew he was American, but I know he was
It is
Chicago.
almost too ideal for him to wind up in Chicago.
Yeah. Is there anybody that, not only the Hawks, but literally, like, Hawk fans, because we're just focusing on Galchenyuk. Is there anybody that we're sleeping on?
That's available?
Well, I mean, that's available.
Yeah,
but
obviously, I mean, there's a lot of speculation about, like, like Thornton and Marlowe, but those guys aren't going to come here. I mean, obviously, Thornton's going to want to stay, like I said, with closer for his family. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if he wants to win a cup, he knows where to come. He knows to come to Chicago. That's the thing. It's like, I don't think he doesn't want to do that. Like, he doesn't want to do, like, how Ginla was jumping from, like, team to team trying to win a cup.
Yeah.
And I don't think Thornton wants to be that guy that does that. And same with Marlowe as well.
Here are names that I've seen over various rumor sites and all that. And again, these are just rumors. These are not realistic or potentially realistic, especially with our cap. You have Carl Alsner. You have Delzato, which is kind of crazy that I start seeing that after Vito drops it on the show on Monday. Christian Fallon.
Which, so pissed about that because he texted us and he was like, "Oh, I wondered where that came from. It's not like somebody talked about that." Shut up, Vito.
Christian Fallon, John Moore, and I do not like this one, Evander Kane.
Yeah, no,
has been on there. And then there's
Kane is enough.
There is a depth forward from Vancouver that has been coming up over the last 24 hours as an under the radar target. Vancouver, left wing center, and I'm gonna, you know how I am with last names, I'm gonna totally butcher this, but it's Joe Cramarosa.
I can't even help you. Can I come around and look?
Here. I'll highlight it real quick for you. So let's see.
Never even heard of that guy before.
Cramarosa?
Yeah, so I'm going to look him up real quick. But
he doesn't sound that good, though.
He sounds like he would be a cheap option.
So the Blackhawks have the top six on the forward is pretty dominant, I would say.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree?
I agree.
Oh, yeah. As what it is, yeah.
And, I mean, that's not even including, and obviously this may not pan out. This is us being hopeful fans and seeing what he's done in juniors. But, I mean, the Brinkat, I mean, there's a lot of potential there. And, I mean, I've heard people say, like, oh, that was in juniors. That's not the NHL. Obviously, we know that. But, I mean, when you put up numbers like that in juniors, you have a goal scoring touch. You're going to be a special player. Exactly. You have a touch for it. You're a natural goal scorer, no matter where you play, and you're going to find ways to get it done.
Dude. He's ugly. Yeah.
Did you see him with the Amante Frost?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. But it's like, I mean, he's not going to stay like that. He's not going to stay with the Frost.
Still, like, and he had like some facial hair going. And I was like, dude, you need to shave. Like, just go.
How old is he?
Brinkat.
He's like 19, 20 maybe.
I think he might be closer to 21.
Yeah. My question
19.
is
19? December 18th, 1997, and he's from Michigan.
Oh,
97.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
I'm old. You guys, you want to know, just to veer off real quick, you want to know how old I am? I played a men's league game today that I was against kids that I've coached and I'm currently coaching. So that's how I know that I'm old and I'm turning 25. So
That's
it's about time for my quarter life crisis.
But you know what?
That sounds like some illegal roster going on if you're still coaching. Darren.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what? It doesn't matter though because we won. So
We did win.
Who cares?
We did win.
Bender's 4-0 now?
4-0.
4-0. Yeah. Killing it, y'all.
So,
Just killing it.
Cramaroso, whatever. 24 years old. He had a cap hit. He's a free agent now. Cap hit about $752,000. He played split time between the Ducks, the San Diego Gulls, and Vancouver Canucks last season. In 59 games in the NHL, 4 goals, 6 assists.
I haven't heard of this
Not
guy.
terrible.
I mean,
San Diego. He played 2 games for the San Diego Gulls and put up nothing. Except 8 penalty minutes.
What a
in 2
shitty name
games.
for a hockey team.
yeah, I know. Right?
So I kind of get like a.
Can I see what that mascot looks like? A seagull mascot? That's hilarious.
I kind of would get like a Yurko vibe with him.
Yeah.
It would be take a chance and see.
I just don't see the whole Yurko thing. And I wasn't bringing it up today because I was thinking about it when I was at work. And I was just like, because I was looking at the roster and I was just like,
Oh, you did some prep today, huh?
a little bit. You know, I was bored at work. You know, it was one of those days where I was just like, ugh, like I don't want to work. Like I'm gonna look up stuff. But like
Your
Yurko,
stuff was outside getting soaked in the rain.
don't even bring that
He
up.
left his stuff out in the driveway getting soaked.
Yeah, it was after a game on Tuesday, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna leave it out because the forecast said it wasn't gonna rain. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna leave it out, and then next thing I know, my stuff is soaked next morning because I forgot to put it in.
That's the mascot.
We have to tweet that picture out.
God.
It's the mascot of the San Diego Gulls. Gulliver is his name.
Gulliver.
Oh,
If the
that's
video
actually very clever.
video works, I will put the picture in the
Holy
video.
Shit, is that hilarious? Oh, I'm gonna die.
I will save this picture so we can.
Oh, hilarious. Okay, so my question is, so much talk about Gallagher and Gagne. Obviously, be great to have either one of those guys. Even both.
Galchenyuk.
Galchenyuk.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Galchenyuk.
Oh, Gallagher wouldn't be too bad either.
Well, I could do that. But the Blackhawks D core is so bad right now. Wouldn't it make sense to get at least one more solid D-man back
Well,
there?
that's the thing.
It's gonna have to be trade.
If everything pans out,
I mean,
with
I
this
understand the whole
Hossa
Carl Alsner thing,
we can do
but-
something. Like if the Hossa thing pans out, where we get this money before like game 2 or day 2 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like if that pans out, then I think we should get somebody like a Gagne who doesn't cost that much, but also get a solid D because
Maybe have like a deal set in place already before the regular season starts, kind of thing. Is that what you're saying?
that would help.
Here's my question too: what if you can get a roster that you're satisfied with, that you think you can compete with, that still has Hossa's cap against it? You healthy scratch, or not healthy? You scratch him. You build up some time, and then at a certain point, then you long-term IR him.
And then you get Hjalmarsson's trade deadline.
Then you pick up deadline cap space.
I'm still hopeful on the whole Hjalmarsson coming to trade deadline, and that's just me being, me being a hopeful fan, me being, a big Hjalmarsson fan. Obviously, I want him back, and I'm hoping that it could somehow pan out at the trade deadline. Obviously, we don't know; it's a long shot, but that'd be
I don't
great.
think he's coming back.
All right, so you want to get into this then?
Let's do it.
No, hold on. Let's finish this up.
I'm pressing Y, dude. You can't tell me to stop when
Let's-
I'm
I
pressing
already,
Y.
I already
hey,
pressed it twice.
Hey, let's just,
Let's
finish here. Let's
Bucket
finish.
off.
Let's finish this defensive comment first. Have you seen? You're talking about how we need to build our defense, which everybody knows. You will vouch because you're a defenseman. Have you seen anybody on the free agency that you'd be like, oh shit, the Hawks need to go for him?
There was actually, and I know that we don't really need someone like this, but I feel like it would help. That's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
St. Louis is gonna keep him.
St. Louis,
But-
especially if the Hawks offer him a contract. St.
There
Louis
was
will match it like that.
who I was looking at, and I think it'd make the most sense because he's not really a top 2 guy. He's more like a 3-4 kind of guy. Is Brendan Smith, and
He just re-signed with New York.
did he really?
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
just today.
I guess I knew that much research.
Well, there was a bunch
Yeah.
flying through today. See if I can pull up his terms.
Damn,
I don't think it's been official.
But like anybody else that's out there, I mean, there's nobody really standing out. And like, I mean,
he signed yesterday.
Obviously, there's like Markov, guys like that. They're
Yikes, you're a
out
whole
there.
day behind.
What's that?
I said, yikes, you're a whole day behind.
He signed for
Yeah,
4
apparently.
years with a cap hit of $4.35 million.
With the Rangers?
Yeah, with the Rangers.
That's good. I'm glad you got. See, I'm all about guys getting their money. Like obviously, like we'll talk about this later with McDavid and that whole situation. But I mean, if you're gonna get like, I'm all about guys getting paid because obviously, if you put in the time, then you should get paid. And it's gonna suck for them in the future because they're not gonna have time. We'll get into this later. But I mean,
And just as we're talking about Hawks re-signing, I know Nolly is a big let's bring back former players type of guy. He's going to be heartbroken to find out that Chris Versteeg re-signed with Calgary, so he will not be coming back for a third term.
That was a joke. Nolly's not a fan of that. Sharpie was an option, and thank Jesus.
they keep
that's
bringing that
not an
up.
option
Yeah,
anymore.
they keep bringing that up.
Saad is the only time I've been happy to see a former player back.
I was happy when
I was happy
I was happy
because of the
with Oduya.
situation that the Hawks are in. That was really the only reason. If Hossa wasn't hurt, I wouldn't be too happy with it.
Really?
I think I really don't.
I don't know. See, I feel Saad is a way better player than Panarin. And he also locks in because Saad is a two-way player.
Yeah, Saad is basically, and you guys said this also last show, and like I've always said this also, is he's a baby Hossa.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need a guy who could be a two-way guy
Which
and get the job
that's
done.
why I love
Penalty
the-
kill,
yeah.
obviously.
Kane
Love
is
that.
going to play amazing with whoever he gets put with. Saad, I think, is going to get Taves back to where he was.
And also, like Panarin is a lot older than Saad. Like, what is he, like 25, almost 26? And
Saad?
no, Panarin.
Panarin?
Yeah,
Okay,
Panarin. Like, obviously he won the Calder, not last year.
Yeah.
He won it last year, but
Well,
and everybody
technically 2 years ago. Yeah.
technically, yeah.
Yeah.
But
But we don't.
everybody thinks that he's young, but he's really not. Like he's
Panarin
already
is 25.
exactly like he's
What's
getting up there.
22? 23?
Saad's 23, I think, because he was 22 at the World Cup. I think.
24.
So did he just turn 24?
Only a year
October.
different. That's not that bad.
They're literally almost a year different.
Yeah.
Saad is October 27th, 92. Panarin is October 30th, 91.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I like the trade a lot. Like my dad was, of course, pissed because he loves Panarin.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I love Panarin,
Yeah,
but
he's-
you know what? If Panarin, you know what? I'm one of those people. I like seeing players going off and when they leave the Hawks and doing well. You know, that's what we grew up on. Players would get traded from the
no
Hawks and
shit.
suddenly they would turn into superstars.
I cried when Jeremy Roenick got traded.
Monte, that was
That
god.
was a heartbreaker for you.
Chelios.
Yeah, Chelios too. Chelios. My mom absolutely loves Chelios.
Uh-huh.
She always jokes about how she actually, for the longest time, told us that he was our real dad, and my youngest brother believed it and actually went to school one day and said something, brought up a call from the from the teacher. He got traded the day my youngest brother was born.
That's crazy.
So
Jesus.
she was an emotional wreck.
Yeah.
But
Good boy.
Yeah.
That's like Barney Stinson thinking that Bob Barker was his dad.
do you guys want to hit Y?
Yeah.
Double tap
ready.
Y?
I already double tapped it.
All right.
All right. Let's go.
I'm gonna hold.
So the other day, leaving the rink after our men's league game.
Not the other day. It was today.
No, it was Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Was it?
It was
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Fuck me. Never mind.
Dice and I were talking about the Johnson trade and the Doan trade, and you said, "I think Johnson's going to come back to the deadline." And I said, "Absolutely no way. If I'm Johnson, I'm telling the Blackhawks they can go fist themselves." And you said, "I don't think he's going to react that way. 3 cups in 10 years. That means something." And I said, "Put it in perspective with Shane Doan. Shane Doan with the Coyotes for 21 years." Captain for like almost all of eternity, and then just cuts ties with the Arizona cuts ties with him out of nowhere. If you're Shane Doan and they ask you to come back, aren't you going to be like, absolute, like you can go straight to hell? No way.
And my argument on that was it's a different situation. With Shane Doan, he was there 20 years. Obviously, he was there for a while, and he was their captain.
Uh-huh.
So he was their guy, and they just basically they threw him away, but then vice versa with Hjalmarsson is he won 3 cups. He's been there for 10 years. He has history. Obviously, he has good history to the point where the Hawks would want him back for his experience, for obviously shot blocking. I mean, there's so many things. He was without a doubt top 2D last year, no doubt about it. So if the Hawks wanted him back, it'd be no surprise. And for him to, like, I really don't see why there'd be anything sour there. I mean, obviously he knows it's business, and there's been stuff that's come out that's saying that he didn't want to go to Arizona. He was pissed about it, and his wife was pissed about it as well. But it's like,
let's stop real second,
business.
just for a second. Talk about his wife.
Heartbreaker.
Talk about his wife,
oh,
though.
she's fucking hot.
Oh,
What a smoke.
good lord! Nice job, Hammer. Okay, go.
And but what I'm saying is like, when you've been through so much, you've won 3 cups, and obviously this changes if like the core still isn't here with the Hawks, because I feel like he would come back if the core still, like Taves, Kane, Seabrook, Keith, guys like that are still here. Then it's a no-brainer, I feel like. And for him, I mean, there's the fans love him, obviously, and I don't think he's done anything bad towards the Hawks. So it's like, I would think for anything that if they asked him, he'd be like, right away, be like, oh yeah, definitely, And with Shane Doan, it's a different story. Like, they kind of just 20 years, it's like, we're changing stuff up here. You're not in the picture anymore. You can take a walk.
I get that, but my thing is, 20 years, no cups, captain, beloved by fans, beloved by your teammates. Thought you were beloved by the front office, but
He was told that as long as he wanted a spot to keep playing, he had a spot on the Coyotes.
And then the GM got fired.
Exactly.
And new GM came in,
and that's why I wouldn't come back. 'Cause if they
JK,
guarantee you something, it's not a guarantee. And hockey is also a business,
right?
So it's like it's to the point where it's not a guarantee, but it's just like you're never guaranteed anything. And if he's just like, if they guaranteed him that, and I would just be pissed. I would be like, no, I'm not.
That'd be super salty.
Yeah, but with Hjalmarsson, it was a business move to the point where it needed to be done for the cap.
So here's what I'm saying. 20 years, captain, loved by fans, loved by your teammates, loved by everybody in Arizona that gives a shit about hockey, which is, I feel like that almost equates to 10 years, 3 cups, beloved by your teammates, beloved by your fans. The front office obviously realized that giving you up almost for the first time to San Jose when they offer sheeted him was a huge mistake, and they brought him back. He knew that he might not have been one of like the biggest names on the Hawks, but he knew, and we knew, and the Hawks knew that he was one of the most important players. And all this time, all of the rumors were Seabrook. And then out of nowhere, it's just, hey, Hammer, you're gone.
And the way I see it is every pre-Rocky Hawks fan is basically, they know Hjalmarsson was great for the team. He didn't put up the numbers. They tried him on the power play a little bit. Obviously, it didn't pan out like a long time ago. But at the end of the day, like, without him, we don't win 3 cups, obviously.
No way.
And if you're a fan, and you mentioned with Shane Doan, it's like loved by the fans, loved by Chicago, loved by the community, and all that. But with Chicago, Hjalmarsson's also that way too.
Yeah.
If you're an educated Hawks fan, obviously the bandwagon fans, they're like, oh, he doesn't put up numbers, he's probably not that good, But if you're an educated Hawks fan, you know Hjalmarsson, and you know what he's done for the team, and you know all that he's done. So in that essence, I feel like that cross cancels. So to your point also, where he's loved by the fans and all that. So what I think it comes down to in this debate is 20 years or 20 plus years with one team, or 10 years, 3 cups, or 20 years, 20 plus years, no cups. I feel like that's kind of what makes the decision is.
I feel like the Stanley Cups make it worse, though. If say Shane Doan won a Stanley Cup with Arizona, the year they went in 2012.
Yeah.
Somehow they pulled it out. I feel like this parting is not as bad. You know, he got his Stanley Cup. He has really nothing left to give Arizona. He might not even be playing next year, actually, if that's the case, but say that he does. He has a Stanley Cup with Arizona. He did what he wanted to do for his fans and for his teammates and for the front office and everything like that. I feel like they wouldn't have had to ask him, hey, we're done. Like, thank you for all you've done, but we have to go in a different direction. I feel like he probably would have himself been, you guys look like you're going somewhere different. I'm going to go test free agency. I feel like if he wins that Stanley Cup, this changes everything completely.
I feel like in my eyes, though, if he wins one cup, it's different. Like, if Hjalmarsson wins one cup and they're like, you're traded, it's different. Because, like, you win a cup, you're like, I just did all this for you, and you just dumped me.
Yeah.
But Hjalmarsson, he's won 3. He's basically proven himself. And, I mean, you hear in the broadcast with Eddie and, Pat, and even Doc, and, even Pierre, which no one likes Pierre, but whatever. Like,
we don't talk about him here.
Like, he brings, like,
I could have thrown
they
something
bring
at
up
him at the draft, but I didn't.
like, they bring up Hjalmarsson, and they say, how great he is,
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm just, like, for that to happen, it's just, like, how valuable he is.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, if he wins one cup and they get rid of him, then it's like, well, why did I put all this work in for your team? You're just gonna dump me.
See, that's the thing, though. Isn't
But
it
he won
worse because he
3.
won 3?
No, it's not.
It's 3
I
and
feel
he's
like,
still in his prime.
but I feel like with
Shouldn't-
3, he's proven himself to the point where, the Hawks weren't gonna pay him enough, and like Arizona's like, you know what, you could possibly get paid with us, and we can give you more. We can give you more ice time. We can give you more. We can give you maybe power play time with the Hawks. He's not
But
gonna
he's
get
clearly not going to be happy. I mean, he's made
Here-
it
and
known
that's why.
that
And
he's
that's
not
why I
gonna
think
be
he's coming
happy.
back.
Here's one thing I want to point out. He had to give the Hawks a list of 10 teams. Why was Arizona not on that list if he was... Did he truly think that maybe that just wasn't a possibility?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
But, I mean... If
I'm,
they're-
I'm wondering if OEL had something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like OEL, like, because they played together World Cup.
Mhm.
I mean, they won. I mean, is it gold or silver together? They might have won a gold together. If I'm not mistaken.
Are you talking World Cup or no, not the World Cup, obviously, but are you talking Olympics?
Olympics, or
look
even
it up.
maybe before that. I'm not sure.
The Olympics,
But
I think they won
regardless,
World Cup
they've
in
won
06,
medals.
or the
Let me see
Olympics
what
in
album
06.
was on.
Yeah, regardless, they won medals together. So it's
Yeah.
like, obviously, I feel like he had a lot to say in that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, like, everybody knows Hammer's good. Like, let's get him.
Okay, so playing international for Sweden, 2005 U18, he took third.
Was he on the Olympic team in 06 when they won?
No.
No? Okay.
He was on the Olympic team in,
Still Rockford, I
in
think.
14 when they took silver.
Okay.
He was World Cup of Hockey. He took third. 2012 World Cup, or 2012 World Championship. Because it wasn't there yet. He took 16th, and 07 at World Juniors,
What was it?
6th.
Oh, I thought you said 16.
Oh, it's my
you
bad.
said 16.
I think it was a
Obviously-
telepathy
obviously-
thing.
I mean,
And
it's in there.
07 at World Juniors, he took 4th.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. They won medals together, so they have history, and obviously you'd want someone like that in your team. Anybody'd want Hjalmarsson in their team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just surprised. Like, I was surprised when it said Arizona. He was going there.
I think everybody was surprised it was Arizona.
Yeah.
Do you think part of him is looking forward for the chance to, finally be the guy? Stepping out of the shadow?
I think right now he doesn't feel that way, but I feel like once he's like in training camp, with the boys, getting all going. Getting
Or
all
do you
out.
think
No,
he's not,
he
or do you
was
think
always
he might not
really-
handle that spotlight well?
He was always really happy just kind of being in the background, He was never the kind of guy that, went out of his way to, be showboaty. Though, I mean, the only time he really showed emotion was when they took his goal away against the Wings in Game 7.
He almost swung his stick.
Yeah, he almost took the
Or
ref's
when
head off.
he's fucking almost loses his leg blocking shots and all that.
Well,
and
like
he's just
Q,
screaming in
Q
pain.
and Eddie have gone on the broadcast, and they said that if Hjalmarsson really wanted to, and we know this also as fans, he could be a top 2 defenseman putting up points.
Oh, absolutely.
Putting up points. Like, obviously he was top 2 defenseman with the Hawks last year by himself, just doing what he does. But he could put up points. Because he has a good shot from the point.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when he scores, was it like 3 or 4 times a year?
The lasers.
Yeah, they're
Laser beams.
Yeah. Sometimes well bar down.
Yeah.
It's just...
But he knows that his job is to stay back home.
Exactly.
Protect the net.
But I feel like he
5 goals
knows.
this year.
Yeah.
But I feel like now he knows that he's gonna have more freedom with this team. He might be able to do a little more.
Yeah.
Him and
I don't know,
Omi
we'll
all
see.
point together on like the power play.
I wonder if they're going to keep them together or if they're
power.
going to separate them.
I think power play they'll be together.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. It's like Jarom didn't pan out with the power play with us. What makes things going to be good in the power play with them?
I don't know.
Just because they don't have anybody else?
So
Is
they're
it
freedom.
a
'Cause look who he's on like power play with. He was either with Keith or Siebes, or he was with.
Well, we were just talking about it. The power play was shit.
Exactly.
Under Kitchen, so give him another coach.
They're going to give him a shot.
maybe, though.
I don't really know if it's going to pan out. Obviously, penalty kill.
Yeah.
Top 2.
You
penalty
give him a
kill.
chance, I think, to run a little bit, and just let him do his thing, and
Yeah.
explore. Because, like you said, he's gonna get the opportunities that he never had here in Chicago to be more in control of that defense.
And if I was him, I'd be excited for that, for the
Yeah.
opportunity to do that. Obviously, he's not excited now. Like, he obviously wants to be with the Hawks. But I feel like just the opportunity to be something bigger with them, and then come back for us in the trade deadline, obviously.
I think he's gonna be an A.
Oh,
I think,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
he's gonna be an A. He's
He'll
gonna
be a
have the
captain.
responsibility. He's just it's gonna be.
You just drop your wedding ring?
No.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
But, so,
Well, this was very civil.
yeah.
I know, what
when
the
it was
hell?
Nolly and I mean, we were about to drop the gloves.
Like, you guys got red in the face.
Yeah. Let us, when you guys listen to this, let us know if you're a Team Dice or Team Poetzy. You know what? I'm not upset if I lose this, to be honest with you. You were thank you.
Pleasure. I mean,
But Team Poets, really.
obviously you should choose Team Dice because
I don't know.
Johnson's going to come back, and then in the end, if he does come back, then we all know who won.
Also, since you're here, you guys need to let us know if you like the Islanders' third jerseys, the all black ones, because
Doesn't matter.
This-
Irrelevant. They do not exist anymore.
well,
Irrelevant.
yeah, but
I mean,
this is
yeah.
still relevant because it makes me mad. I think those are disgusting. They're gross.
They're
not
stupid.
in a good way. He loves them. Dice
Guys.
loves them.
Guys, all right. There's a thing about style, and you guys lack style.
All right.
There is literally no black in the New York. We're not getting into this
All
right
right,
now.
what I was saying though is, to go off topic a little bit, is that the Vegas Golden Knights, they should have went black on black. The fact that they went with this white and gold gloves bullshit is stupid. And the fact that they got these random designs on their shoulder, I don't mind the jerseys that much. They're not bad, but why did they go gray? They could have went black. Could have went with some nice black and white gloves that have more better white accents, and they could have just went with a better black on black option. And Islanders jerseys, I like them. Nobody agrees, and that's why the Benders are getting new jerseys, and we're going all black on black.
You're gonna have to find a shit ton of new players if that
yes,
happens.
you are.
Hey, that's fine. Well, today, we had 16 more guys in our locker room.
God, I hate you. I wish Vito were here. I really do. Actually, if I'm wishing for things, I wish Nolly were here. Nolly, I miss you. Before we close out on the Blackhawks, schedule dropped, 2 days ago? I think.
Oh, last
That was last
Thursday, a week from today.
Well, we didn't cover
Last
it.
Thursday, yeah.
So,
We were too busy with draft and
yeah.
all that.
schedule dropped. Hawks are going to open up against Pittsburgh at home, Stanley Cup champs. They started with 4 straight games against Eastern Conference teams. First game against Vegas, everybody's going to circle that on their calendar, is the 24th. 24 is best. Of October in
Gotta circle.
Vegas.
He's not even here, and we have to hear that shit.
Yeah, I know.
You got to circle the 10th.
The 10th, that's Montreal. Are you going to be there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be there
I
for
already
that
booked
one.
the flight.
Yeah.
We're going.
You know what? You might as well book it for Toronto, too, then.
You know
Go
what?
back to back.
We were thinking about that, but we already booked the flight to Montreal, and we're trying to make it where
Take a train.
you're giving me ideas.
Z listens to
But-
this. She's just gonna be like, "Shut up, Poets."
But
Yeah, I know. She's
for
gonna kill
sure,
me.
we're going to that game.
I'm trying to find where I was reading this, but the Blackhawks, based on mileage and back to back, they have one of the hardest schedules, top 5 hardest schedules in the league.
Well, what's crazy
right.
about the schedule is that there's no more circus trip
Yes.
because
That was pretty interesting.
because we're done with that.
Yeah.
It's the circus.
Thank God.
Well, the wife wasn't a fan of the circus anyways because of
Yeah, no, neither am I.
with the elephants and all that. But besides the
I
point.
don't know. I was a circus once. I love elephants, and it was cool seeing them up front.
Well, she
but-
loves elephants too,
yeah.
but she didn't
It
like
was
the
cool
way
seeing
that
them,
they
but it
were,
was
I
like-
guess,
it was-
treated.
Yeah, you can tell it was like bullshit how they were
Yeah.
treating them, but
Yeah, but that brings up a good point where it's like
the schedule's going to be different this year. Like they're not going to have that long Canadian road trip. I know that in December, right before New Year's, because we're thinking about going to that also, was that they're playing. I think it starts off with, I think it's Vancouver, and then where is it? It's Vancouver, Edmonton, and then it goes. They skip a day and they go to Calgary, and then. So it's like, I guess that's their new Canadian road trip, if anything, their circus trip.
Yeah, but then you'd have to be in Vancouver with Zenaida, and that just sounds unbearable because she loves the Canucks.
You're telling me.
All right, here we go. NHL toughest schedule. Blackhawks have the third most miles.
Based
We're gonna
off
travel the most mileage based on just travel and all.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're gonna have to travel 47,926 miles this season. Compare that to the easiest one is Pittsburgh with 34,041. Then you have
Those bastards.
Yeah. Then they're tied for fourth with the most back-to-backs with 17.
Hawks love their back-to-backs, though.
They do. The Hawks
They
always
do great
well
in those
with it.
back-to-backs.
What I would wish they would do more of when they did have those back-to-backs was use Darling a little more.
I agree.
And they never did it, and obviously we can't use him anymore. May he rest in peace.
Whoa! I mean, let's.
He's going to the Hurricanes. He's
Easy
definitely
there.
going to rest in peace there.
Speaking of Scott Darling, did you guys see the tweets between him and Derek Ryan?
yeah.
Amazing.
Derek Ryan tweeted out, "I'm excited to be going back to the Canes for another season. Thanks for the opportunity." And he tweeted his jersey, and it says Ryan 33 on the back. So Darling responds with, "I'll trade you 3 dinners, 2 dog walks, and 1 night of babysitting for that number. Hashtag think about it." Ryan replies with, "Oh, this could get interesting. Make it 2 dinners, 1 Whole Foods gift card, and at least 2 goals allowed in every practice, and we have a deal." So then Darling responds with, "The best I could do is 1 dinner, 1 Whole Foods gift card, and 3 goals per practice. Parentheses, pending league approval." Moral of the story, Scott Darling now has the number 33 for the Carolina Hurricanes.
I love hockey players.
So, honest to God, isn't social media just the best?
You hear other sports with people like
would
they
never happen
want
in any other sport.
cars, they want like expensive watches.
They're ripping
like,
apart their pitchers.
Like it's god.
Montero?
I'm sorry, you don't. I know this is a hockey and not baseball. You don't throw your pitcher.
You don't throw,
under the
especially
bus. Anybody on your team.
Especially your top pitcher this year.
Especially after a few months off about bashing how you were used in the World Series and the playoffs.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, Montero.
Hashtag salty.
I'm not salty about anything. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying,
no, I'm saying he
Oh,
is.
he's okay.
yeah.
I was gonna say,
Hashtag salty.
Yeah.
And that's why he's on assignment right now.
Yeah.
Contreras is going to be the guy.
Oh, yeah, and I'm fine with
God,
that
and
because
this
he's
kid,
so sick.
and this kid they've called up. I know we're not talking baseball, but this kid they called up is going to be sick too.
From what I've heard, he sounds pretty sick.
Switch hitter too. Oh, all right, that's a hockey.
Yeah. Going back to hockey, the only other date that I could think of that you should circle on your calendar for the Hawks is they play Vegas at home for the first time, January 5th. It's a Friday, 7:30. UC's going to be jumping for that one, I think. I think that's going to be a packed house.
January 5th.
January 5th, a Friday, 7:30.
That's like 3 weeks before my birthday. I think we can celebrate a little early.
I guess we'll look into that.
Maybe. We'll see if I win this bet between me and Dice. So,
Obviously, we know I'm winning.
yeah, whatever.
All right.
Huge trade happened today. Well, not really huge, but it solves
It's noticeable.
the conundrum that is the Carolina Hurricanes goaltending trio.
And helps on cap for Carolina, big time.
Right. Eddie Lack traded off to Calgary. Actually, it was a much bigger trade than that. I shouldn't just say
Eddie
it was
Lack,
just Eddie Lack.
Ryan Murphy, and a 2019 7th-round pick. And Carolina's retained 50% of his salary, so basically they're getting Eddie Lack for $1.375 million.
For Keenan Kanzig, I want to say.
You have that.
Kanzig, maybe? Keenan Kanzig in a 2019.
I'm going to say Kanzig.
2019 6th-rounder. I'm going to look him up.
I feel like I like this trade.
That was
and
a huge... That's a lot going to Calgary for... I'm sorry. It's Keegan, not Keenan. Keegan. For one player, a prospect at that, and a 6th-round draft pick in
and that's the
the
thing.
draft 2 years from now.
I like the trade because I feel like Calgary's trying to finally get some good goaltending because they got Smith earlier, and now they got.
Lack is a solid backup.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he is a great backup.
And we all know Calgary had the issue. I mean, obviously Elliott got hot last year, but before that he was struggling.
Yeah.
So it's like they're finally trying to get that back end going. You know, the goaltending. Everybody knows you need goalies to kind of win, but defense is more valuable.
I hate you.
But at the same time, it's like I feel like they're finally getting that going where they're solidifying their goaltending position.
So
we talk about though too with this. Okay, real quick before we get into the Calgary part of this, Carolina, they almost snuck into the playoffs last year.
It's true.
They have got a very good team, I think, coming up. They have good young players coming up.
Mm-hmm. What a great spot for Teravainen to end up.
Yeah, it worked out.
They have $25.5 million in cap space to work with.
Is that even with the Lack trade?
That is including the Lack trade. And they only have 2 free agent UFAs this season.
Huh.
Next year is going to be a little bit rough. But
so they might just be holding on to that money for
But can
next
you imagine what they were doing with and how much space they have when they re-sign these young guys that need to be re-signed?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this team can be good.
Justin Falk is a very
He's so sick.
solid defenseman. I'm a big plus-minus guy. His plus-minus is not very good.
This may be another argument. I don't know if you want to get into this right now, but if you want to press Y, it's fine.
Do you think plus-minus is an irrelevant?
I think it's an irrelevant stat.
Irrelevant? Okay. I also agree that it could be irrelevant. However, when you're like a minus 20-something, like some of the Colorado Avalanche guys were, I know Colorado was a bad team.
Yeah.
But being a minus 20-something, minus 30-something is
but it's
completely...
Okay, but what does that stat prove? If you're in the plus, that just means you're on the ice. I mean, you cannot touch the puck once.
I jumped on the ice and
exactly.
the team literally scores as I'm changing and I get
a
minus.
In those cases, I feel like it's a stupid stat. Let me pull up the plus minus.
I just don't really see the room for it. I mean, obviously it's not going to change.
I feel
We've
like
had it since who knows how long.
It depends on how much ice time you have. If you have a lot of ice time and you are like a minus 36, probably not your best season. Or vice versa that, actually. If you only have like maybe 12 minutes of ice time in a game and you're like a minus 20 on the season, you really had a bad season. Like, that's a really
I think that first example, I don't think that really plays out the way you're saying, because you're out there more, so you get the more chance to be out there for someone against.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like
doesn't work.
a lot of good players sometimes.
Right,
a lot of good players sometimes have bad plus minus, and it's like, does that make them a bad player, or maybe it just makes them a bad luck kind of player where they're out there maybe where they don't touch the puck, or they don't even, like, the puck doesn't even go in their direction. Obviously, maybe they could do something to stop the play from happening, but at the same time, it's like, is that really? It might not be their fault, and they could be negative 30 by the end of the season.
Okay, how about this? Riley Sheahan, minus 29 for Detroit, had 13.58, 13 minutes and 58 seconds of time on ice per game. That's bad. That is bad.
Oh, I agree.
That's really bad. Like,
but that's something that you can see as a coach, and obviously, like, NHL teams have more than 3 coaches. They have guys up top, so they could see that without even having the stat of plus minus. They could see that, noticing that, hey, why is Sheahan always on the ice when we get scored on? You can just notice it. Right.
Well, then you take a look at a guy like Oliver Ekman-Larsson on Arizona, a team not very good. Minus 25, not very good. 24 minutes of ice time a game. You can kind of understand
that's what I'm
why
saying.
He's got like a minus. I guess I did word that a bit incorrectly. If you have like 13 minutes a game, like Riley Sheahan, and you're a minus 30, that's bad. That's where I think it comes in for me.
Yeah, that's really bad. Real quick, I looked up because he's been criticized for his defensive play. Ovechkin. He's only been a minus 3 times in his career.
And
well, yeah,
it's changed but that's what I'm saying though.
Putting up a shit ton of goals.
It's like that's another thing too. Be like, he is such a
were any of those in the most recent, like maybe 2 or 3 years? What is this?
2013, 2014, he was a minus 35. He put up 79 points.
And that was before.
So that's a lot.
I want to say that was before Barry Trotz, because
that was
once Barry Trotz came,
11, 12, he was a minus 8. he put up
Of course, it was
65.
8.
And his second season in the league in 06-07, he was a minus 19,
Yeah,
and
they
he put
were-
up 92 points.
They weren't very good that year.
And that's what I'm saying, though. I feel like Barry
That's
Trotz definitely helped him out with his defensive game. Because before, I mean, you can even see in the games when you watch him, like when he first started,
Uh-huh.
he was just one of those lazy guys in the defensive zone.
But
And
I think
he
what
wasn't
I'm
even trying to do
is
anything.
why this is such a pointless stat is because you have players like that who Ovechkin is not a great defensive zone player,
Uh-huh.
but because he can put up 90 points a season, it cancels it out. So you don't truly get that stat
Exactly.
of him not being
Okay,
his defensive play.
but then again, so this guy Keegan Kainzig, defenseman, played for the Calgary Hitmen in the WHL 2014-2015. Played in 70 games. Played in 70 games. Had 22 points, 3 goals, 19 assists. Was a plus 38 in 70 games, and only getting 22 points
That's only
in that year.
That's
And
also
and he's
that's
a plus
also that's also
38.
juniors.
I
We
know
got
it's also
players
juniors,
putting
but
up
I feel like that's just
120
another
something
example
points.
where
Exactly.
Yeah.
plus minus, it kind of shows there. Like that's you're like, oh shit, like this
No,
guy
I
made the
agree.
ice
I
for
mean-
a lot, you know.
I feel like, I mean, for me, it's irrelevant. It's an irrelevant stat. I mean, I'm sure.
Defense,
Like,
I feel
I'm
like
sure.
it's
Like,
relevant
I'm
for
sure.
sure.
I'm sure old school
Or
guys.
no, maybe more forwards. I should
More
say.
forwards,
strike
yeah,
Yeah, more
ahead.
forwards.
Yeah.
But I would say like maybe more old school guys, like old school like coaches, like guys that have been around for a while.
Yeah.
They look at that stat like, oh yeah, I mean he's been on the ice, for who knows how long, and he's still a plus 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
So like they look at that more, but I feel like it's kind of getting tapered off where
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not being paid attention to as much because there's also video. You can watch video and you can see who's out there. I mean, you don't really need the stat to tell you that. You get to see based off the video.
Yeah.
Oh, Shane was on the ice this many times. Fucking
Yeah.
bench the guy. You know?
I feel like there's a way that they probably can, especially now with all the technology
Yeah.
and the research that they have. There's probably a better way to make. They could probably make plus minus more relevant again. And I don't know.
I
There's
really
gotta be
hope so
something.
because the whole green jacket thing is my favorite.
Yeah.
My
That's
absolute
great.
favorite thing of all time. Let's get back to Keegan Kainzig. We went way off topic.
Yeah.
This kid has never played an NHL game. He's played in a total of 9 AHL games. I'm wondering
40 games in the ECHL.
I'm wondering what Carolina is seeing in this kid that they gave up quite a bit.
He's a third round.
I mean, I know that they had to
67
give up
overall
Eddie
pick.
Lack at some point. Anyway.
2013.
Yeah,
I think
he
that's
was eventually
going to
go.
I think it's they.
I feel like that's just a lot to give up though, for Eddie Lack, Ryan
Calgary
Murphy, and
100% won this trade.
a pick. Oh, yeah,
100%
Calgary won it, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like
Whether or not Eddie Lack stays healthy
Exactly.
enough is another question.
you know how we talked about this early in the episodes how down they were on Eddie Lack.
Oh, yeah.
calling him out
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, they probably just like, you know what, just get him out of here.
Yeah.
The fact that they retain salary in this is kind of like what kind of blows my mind a little
Uh-huh.
bit.
The one thing I am excited for with Eddie Lack going to Calgary and with Smith being there also is their setup. I feel like they're gonna have some
look
good.
great.
They're gonna have some good style.
I'm kind of hoping that he comes out with the Trevor Kidd setup.
Oh.
Eddie Lack,
He'd be that guy to do it,
he would be that guy to do it.
and that'd be great. Because
Yeah.
I feel like both those guys.
He didn't do
Obviously,
it-
Smith does the whole like home and away pads thing.
Yeah.
So he might do that again.
He didn't do it with Carolina because Trevor Kidd played for Carolina and Calgary. He didn't do it in Carolina, so I'm hoping that he does something here.
I'm looking at.
But there's history in Calgary. I feel like he could do it there.
That's true.
Lack's page on Cap Friendly, and it's Ryan Murphy, and I'm like, well, they don't put goalie stats on Cap
Uh-huh.
Friendly, okay, but yeah, Ryan Murphy, 27 games last year in Carolina, 2 assists, 8 penalty minutes,
Yeah.
+2.
He's probably playing the A.
AHL, he played 7 games.
Hmm.
So he didn't play much at all last year.
No.
34 total games. He must have been injured or something. He was originally in 2011 a first round 12th overall pick.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm not sure about that trade.
Yeah. It was just interesting to me that it was so much.
Yeah, there was just
Coming
There's
to
a lot
Calgary.
of parts.
Yeah.
basically.
Is
And then to top it all off, keeping 50% of this.
Yeah,
50%
that
of
is
salary.
this Eddie Lack's like last chance to like prove himself he belongs as a backup in the league, or do you think
Nah, I mean he's
he's a backup? And
I think
everybody
he's
knows
proven that he's.
He's never gonna be a
backup.
starter,
I think
in my
maybe if he
eyes.
wanted to be a starter, this would be maybe
that his chance kind of.
this is my chance. Yeah. Well, actually,
Probably not,
I
but-
think in that case, his chance passing Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
he has
he had
to know he's gonna be
every
a backup.
opportunity to take that away from Cam Ward.
Yeah.
He never did.
Does it surprise you that Carolina kept Ward?
Nah, not after the year they had.
That's what I was
last
going to
year.
bring up. Is like, and this may be off topic, but what are they going to do with Ward? Like, I know that they got Darling, obviously, and like, what is he going to be, a backup?
You know what? I keep on forgetting that they had Darling. So now that I think about it, it is weird that they did not give up Ward. I thought that they were going to keep Eddie Lack for the backup, have Darling be the starter. So now that makes me think that they're
Ward's
not 100% bought in on Darling.
Is Ward going to get traded, or is he?
But Ward
he's
is
like
also making less money than Darlin.
and that's crazy.
So-
Doesn't really
kind of-
mean anything.
I know, but I'm
Whether
also
he
saying
plays
all right.
well or
Like
not,
I
yeah.
think they're
And-
I think they're putting all their eggs in the Darling basket. There.
And I really didn't feel like Ward had. I mean, obviously he didn't have a great season last year, but he didn't have a bad season
No.
to the point where
Ward?
hey,
It was better than the previous years.
and that's what I'm saying. It's
For
like
how that team started off, he had a great season.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like he went from having a decent, not a great season, a decent season. I mean, he's a 2006 Conn Smythe winner.
Yeah.
So he's
God, he was so good that final.
Cap Friendly does
bring-
not put
don't bring
win
that up.
losses on the stats for
Interesting.
goalies. They only do gains played, goals against
Just
save
being nice.
percentage.
But what I'm saying is like
They're just
for,
being
for him
nice.
to have a decent season and then for them just to be like, hey, we're gonna get Darling
Mm-hmm.
to like basically replace you. It's kind of like a slap in the face. And it's
Is
like-
it? 33 years old. I mean,
But he didn't have
Cam
a bad
Ward-
season
Cam
though.
Ward. He's 33 years old. It's kind of, I mean, that's kind of getting to the point though where you're like, okay, it's time to look young.
Yeah.
And
No,
start-
I agree with that. He's getting old, obviously. I mean, because he won the Conn Smythe in 2006. That's forever ago. But at the same time, it's like he didn't have a bad season last year. So
Mhm.
so why go through that much to get Darling? Obviously, he could steal that number one spot from Darling. They could be like a 1A, 1B.
Is it gonna be a 1A, 1B, or is it gonna be an open competition to start?
That's probably what they want.
Is it Darling right away,
I think
or is it Cam Ward?
because Darling has made it so openly known that he's done being the backup. He's going to be a starter somewhere. He's ready for that role. It makes you think that that's the reason why Carolina went out and got him. If they're going to go and do the 1A 1B situation, that's pretty shitty.
I don't think Darling would sign a 4-year deal if that was.
Yeah.
I don't-
that was the
exactly.
case.
I think the leash is it might be a little short just because Darling
Maybe at the start.
at the start, yeah, because they know that they have a guy that didn't have that bad of a season last year in Cam Ward, so they might just give him, be like, hey, as soon as you shit the
Instead
bed on
of
the
10
ice,
starts in a row, maybe he gets 6, and then
or what they might do is they might just ease him in to being a starter, and like you said, not 10 in a row, maybe
like,
6 in a row.
I think he'll maybe play 40 games, between 35 and 40 games, maybe.
And maybe Cam Ward's cool with being like a like
No, maybe a little bit more.
like a mentor, like maybe being a mentor for
Yeah.
Darling, be like, hey,
But does Darling need that?
Well, then again,
he doesn't though because he had
Yeah.
Crawford. But at the same time, it's like maybe that's what they wanted. That's why they don't want to get rid of Cam Ward yet.
but then again, they could also ship off Cam Ward somewhere and pick up, maybe a Jonathan Bernier or, I don't know, Darcy Kemper. He's a UFA. Red O'Bara, UFA.
I'm trying to think, who needs a goalie still?
Miller's out there, but Miller doesn't fit.
Miller,
in Carolina.
I saw.
fit in Carolina.
Miller, I
Yeah.
saw was rumored to go to Anaheim.
Ew. Oh,
Right, as
what's
a-
going to go on
as
with
a-
Gibson?
as a backup
I
for
don't know.
Gibson. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
like-
that's interesting. That has to be like a 1A, 1B thing because I can't see Ryan Miller being all right with
well, that's
that.
what I'm saying is like maybe like these older goalies are turning into these backups now. Like that we're used to. Like we grew up watching Miller.
Oh, Ryan Miller is not very good anymore.
Ryan
What's-
Miller is 36 years
Ooh,
old.
I keep on hitting the mic. This is going to really be unfortunate.
But it's like maybe it's because we grew up watching these guys that now it's like it's harder for us to see them turning
Yeah.
into backups. Like guys like Miller.
Well, no, I wasn't really thinking about Ryan Miller when I said that. I was thinking more about John Gibson.
Yeah.
I mean, he proved himself in this playoffs that he could take the team potentially to the promised land.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of a slap in his face if they pick up Ryan Miller.
This is from Elliot Friedman. Friedman. There's a lot of expectation of Ryan Miller to Anaheim for approximately $1 million, although I'm not sure if bonuses will be added to that.
That's really strange. I know that
Vancouver wants to keep him, but his wife is an actress, so the Southern California would be the potential landing spot.
I know he wanted to go somewhere in California because his wife is an actress.
Can you complain about Ryan Miller being a backup for $1 million?
I thought he might.
Yeah, he might want more, which he needs.
But if that's what the expectation is, that's what's going to be said, and
he needs to realize that he's not worth that. But
then again, he's never.
And then if Dave laced
he's
it
never
up
been
with
a
bonuses,
backup before, so him having to wait 2 weeks in between starts is really going to be an adjustment for him. After I don't even know.
So what does that mean?
12, 13 years of being a starter.
Yeah, Buffalo, and then going to Vancouver, being the guy in both.
So that means Vancouver
stuck with Markstrom.
Would need a goalie.
Yeah.
But they've said, I'm pretty sure they've gone on like record or like Twitter saying that Markstrom's their guy.
Markstrom is their guy, and they've got Thatcher Demko, I think, in their system, and he's going to be really good.
Yeah, I know that
That's interesting,
they've said Markstrom. It's like we're going with Markstrom, and it kind of sucks for Miller because he's technically still there, but I mean he's gonna get shipped out, or unless he wants to accept being a backup.
So you said Miller for $1 million, right?
$1 million, probably with bonuses laced up the butt.
So that's technically $9 million less than what McDavid's gonna get. Segue.
Oh God, yeah, this is a movie I forgot. I'm like, I think we're wrapping up. I was like, no, make money.
We have one more.
I don't know.
This is ridiculous.
Tanner talked about this, and he kind of what he was saying made sense, but at the same time, no. I don't. For those who don't know, Ryan Miller. I'm looking at his page. Connor McDavid is expected on July 1st to sign a 8-year deal worth $13.25 million a year. Comes out to about, I think it was give or take $106 million contract.
That's ridiculous.
And that doesn't probably include a signing bonus or bonuses.
He will be the best player in the world at some point.
Oh God, yeah.
It might be next year. It might be the year after that. I don't know. At some point, he will be the best player in the world.
Oh.
Still not worth over $100 million.
What I think is
that's absurd.
If you're going to be the best player in the world, you need to understand that if you take a deal like this, your future to win Stanley Cups just diminishes tremendously.
Completely jeopardized.
Exactly.
You're going to be playing with AHLers at the revolving door going in because you're not going to be able to re-sign all these players that you grow the chemistry with.
And a great example of this is what did Crosby do? Crosby took a pay cut. He could have got 13.
He's still getting 8.7 mil.
Technically, I mean, in quotes, pay cut. But it's like he took that pay cut because he knew that he still wanted to win cups. And as much shit as everybody talks about Crosby and how he is on the ice, at the end of the day, he knows what he needed to do to win cups, and he knew that he could have got probably 13 mil, upwards of that, because he is the best player in the NHL. But
what if
he took a pay cut?
What if the cap goes down next year? What if one of these, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
They're
6,
so screwed.
7.
They're so screwed. And
7 forward defensemen that are going to be RFAs next year. So what if they pull out amazing seasons?
And they still have to go for Draisaitl,
who is probably going to get between 6 and 8.
I've heard that it's going to be about 8.
Yeah, I've heard 6. So it's
if you can get him
speculated.
for 8 for 8 years, that's not bad. I think it's a lot, but still.
Then again,
you got $21 million into those two players.
And if you're going to total all that up, that's $164 million in just
if the cap goes down, like you said, hypothetically, I would hate to be Kevin Lowe. That's gonna be ridiculous. How are you gonna
absurd?
I mean, it's the same. Like I thought it was bad with us.
You know what?
Kane and Taves
wouldn't you think that teams would learn from what the Hawks are going through? Wouldn't you think that they would figure out, like, shit, they tied up Kane, Taves, and Keith and Seabrook, which is great because they're 4 awesome players.
Yeah.
But they screwed themselves.
I brought this up
hard.
also earlier. I was talking to my dad about it, and basically, McDavid, I don't think it's him asking for the money.
No, it's his agent.
Exactly. And at the end of the day,
He doesn't seem like the kind of guy to be like, I'm
At the
going
same-
to
okay,
make $100 million.
obviously, if they throw you 13 mil, you're like, hey, and it's like, you know what? No, I only want 6.
Yeah.
Are you really gonna be that guy to say that? No, your agent's gonna be like, no, take the 13 mil. What are you, stupid?
Are
You know?
you that, like, you're not with it that much that you can let your agent work you that much? At some point,
A lot of guys like that though.
But
A
I'm just
lot of
saying though,
players.
I know, but at the same time, a player like that, if you're an agent for a player for potentially the greatest hockey player of this, like, new generation of players coming up, you're gonna do everything you can not to piss him off. So you're gonna force this guy to ask for originally it was $14 million he was asking for. So you're gonna force your client to ask for $14 million, which potentially is going to handicap the shit out of his team and lose his chance of possibly winning multiple Stanley Cups. I mean, that's like, I'd say it's like, I don't believe. I mean, I get it. I do know that there's agents out there that are like that, but at the same time, that's because of the assumption the players have no say.
As much as I don't want him to take that much, he's gonna take it.
Oh God. I mean, yeah. At the same time, yeah. If you're gonna get offered, and you're gonna, yeah, fuck it, yeah, I'm
He's
gonna
gonna
take it.
take
But
it.
it's like, come on. At the same time,
I wonder if there's anybody reaching out to him in the NHL that's like, listen, you need to figure this out. Like,
And I figure like guys
might-
like Crosby might.
guys like Crosby, maybe Jonathan Taves reaches out to him and be like, hey, listen, take it from me.
that pressure
Yeah.
too. I mean,
He's like, it might sound great that you're getting $100 million, but listen, in the long run, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be.
And I brought this up last year when it came to Fowler, baseball reference. But it's like you're either gonna be rich.
Oh my God, I thought of Cam Fowler.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're either gonna be rich or you're gonna be wealthy.
Yeah.
And it's like with McDavid, he can either be rich at 13 mil or whatever he gets, or I'm sorry, he could be wealthy at 13 mil, or he could be rich and just get maybe 6 or 8. But obviously,
And get most likely at least 1 or 2 Stanley Cups.
exactly. Or I mean, you can be wealthy and not.
Look
And
at
that's
the
what
players you can sign for that. What, $4 or $5 million difference?
that's what I'm saying. Like there's so many, like there's so much opportunity, and if he takes that much, it's gonna be tough to win a cup there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they did good last year, but I mean, eventually, like, if they're gonna have to pay those guys, and the cap might go down, like you said. Who knows? Anything can happen, and it's just, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah,
Stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid, I think.
And again, we go on this and we're like flipping on about this, but like 13 million is like the league minimum, and like basketball and football and all this shit. And hockey should have the $100 million cap, not freaking basketball with 12 guys.
Yeah, I know. And then baseball cap really doesn't even exist.
I kind of
in
like
baseball.
that. I like the baseball way to do it.
I mean, what you just pay a fine, right?
Yeah, you pay a fine and that gets sent out to
That's
low
such a
market
cop-out.
teams.
Yeah.
It's such a cop-out,
What's the
though.
point in having a cap if you can just pay a fine?
Absolutely. Like the Yankees are going to pay that fine every time.
Exactly.
They don't give a
They
shit.
do. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that they've done it every year.
And then
I mean,
the White
obviously,
Sox,
I'm
what
not
do you,
sure.
say the White Sox are going to try and do that. If they try and pay that fine, they're screwed.
That doesn't come. I mean,
I think the Cubs might have did that last year, where
the Cubs might have to do it with Harper if Harper truly wants to come out here and he really wants to be the $500 million athlete.
Wait, I know this is totally off topic, but my mom and I were watching the Cubs game today, and she turns to me, she goes, have you seen what Bryce Harper looks like with his shirt off? And I was like, all right, Mom, I'm going to go. I'm going to leave because I don't want to talk about this.
that was like Zenaida. That was it last week. She was like going
Tonight
through-
is Dice's wife.
Yes, she was going through her feed, and she saw the Baez ESPN body issue, and he's just obviously he's naked. It's the body issue, and she's just like well, who's that? And I was like, Zenaida, I was like, I don't care.
That is not Joe Thornton or Brett Burns. It doesn't matter.
But good for them though. They
Yeah,
look
it
good.
was
They look good.
hilarious.
Hilarious. Hey, you know who should be on the body issue next? Chris Cimoch.
Chris Cimoch.
Chris Cimoch. He's coming up next, you guys. We're going to call him in a little bit here. RMU legend. All right, so stick around. We'll call Chris. Mr. Cimoch, the RMU legend. How are you, bud?
Not so much in the legend. I don't.
Why not? Why not? You are the only Robert Morris University hockey player to ever have his number retired. That makes you a legend in my book, I think.
I agree.
I think it was on accident. I don't think they meant to do it.
You're right. It was probably a huge accident.
They ran out of jersey size number 4. No one needed it anymore. So.
Well, we're happy to have you on the show. You were the first caller that we've had on our little contraption thingy. We kind of Jimmy rigged it the last time somebody called in. So we're happy to have you on. You wanted to talk about the Riding Pine question you had a couple weeks ago about the flow. Why don't you talk about your how upset you are about what happened there?
No, it turned on me real quick, and you guys took advantage of the opportunity of an easy target. I appreciate it. I was trying to ask a nice question. You guys got to turn around on me. I know I don't have any hair, okay?
We've been telling you for weeks. No, not weeks. Nay on a year almost. That you just gotta shave the whole thing. I think that's your go-to move. Just like go for the Dr. Evil villain bald head.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen anytime soon. I'm gonna hold on for as long as I can and just keep learning.
You just got to keep embracing the fill, man. That's all you got to keep doing.
I think it's true. I think that's true. Hey, so what do you think about what Yager said today?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. His 2 back-to-back tweets today were just it just goes on with the legend of Yager. I have to say, he's just that guy. He's got the charisma. He's funny, but it's just like times have changed. It depends on who really can. I don't know who's going to want to pay that kind of money for a 45-year-old sport winger. A legend in his own right, but at the same time, tweets were awesome, but I could also see why no one's calling.
Well, that's my thing. Is like someone's got to take him. Like somebody out there is going to take the risk and go after him. Like, why wouldn't you at least? Like he's a legend. Like he has the experience. Why not like go after him, take the risk, and to see what it gets you? I mean, it could either be good, it could be bad. I mean, I would go for the risk if I were the Hawks, but we don't have the money for it. So.
No. We don't have the money for anything, really. I think... So my first thought when I read what he said today was I wasn't sure how this ranked, if this was higher or lower than the quote-unquote scandal that he was almost a part of when that broad took a picture of him in their bed, or in his bed, and I was just like, is this better than that? I'm not sure.
I think he's just trying to get some action. Like he's just trying to get some action out there. And just go for it. I mean, what is he? He's 45, right?
Yeah.
He's just trying to get some action.
Yeah. See, what do you think?
Yeah, no, it's so tough. I mean, he's going to bring a lot to the locker room. But at his age and the production was kind of there last year, but his game is just speed. He kills right now.
Yeah.
I think the best example is the final 4 teams that were left in a final all had speed, whether it was back end or it was the forwards. And I think teams also realize they got to start giving some of these young guys a shot to get in the lineup. Pittsburgh, prime example. You let those kids fly there, and look what it got you.
Do you see one of these, cellar dweller teams who need to get the cap up that can use the experience that Yager has, taking a shot at him? Like the Arizona...
Maybe
not
not
Arizona because of the whole Shane Doan thing.
Yeah.
But one of these younger teams that, they're not going to be competitive this year. So, you know what? Maybe get the legend himself in there to kind of, guide these young players in. Do you think, that can be an option?
Maybe not even a cellar dweller, though. Maybe something like Toronto, where they've got a shit ton of rookies and, like, kids going into their sophomore year. Granted, they made the playoffs last year, but who better to learn from than Yager?
And that's the thing. I feel like he has maybe maybe like 16 more goals in him. Like I would say, like he doesn't really. I know he doesn't have a lot, but it's like I would say at the most maybe 16 more goals in him. I mean for a season, and I mean he's not going to be his old self. We know that. I mean, but at the same time, it's like he still has them to at least be a presence.
Yeah.
If that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see him going into like a team that's going to be a playoff competitor, which I think he ultimately wants. And it's kind of a weird situation. It's like, do you put Jaromir Jagr in your bottom six? And what is he doing for you there, other than maybe you throw him a power play spot? But I don't know. It's tough to say, like, any teams that are really gonna take that chance or put him in a system. I don't know. You gotta have the room, and you also have to think, like, where does he fall in your lineup? You know, you guys said Toronto a little bit, bring in, I know, still on the ropes, but at the same time, I mean, Toronto's got all this young talent that they've already proven themselves and put themselves in the playoffs last year, and almost they're close to beating Washington. That's not no jokes about it. They were ready and they were primed, and you know, maybe the experience of a big and hope he ends up winning that series, but it's tough to say where he can actually fall. I don't see many teams leaning that way just to be like a charity case, unless they're looking to just fill the seats. Because Jagr will get some people in there, or at least those 8 guys that were traveling Jagrs. You know.
Hey, go ahead.
Oh, one more question about a Jagr situation. Do you think he just signed somewhere to keep going, and then around trade deadline time, they look to move him, and then
charity case?
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, a lot more teams will have more cap space with like IR and all that. I mean, what do you think about that? Yeah, LTIR.
Yeah, I was thinking like he just goes to like, I don't know, like a Dallas or like a Boston, or not even one of those teams, but like
he won't
even
go
like
back to a team he already played for.
Exactly, that's the thing. But it's like he's played for so many. Like, the list is
slowly dwindling.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, where does he go? Does he go to maybe? I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like where he would go, and then at the end of the season, maybe nice little playoff push to LA, maybe.
Yeah,
someone like that.
That worked well for Ginla.
Ginla's not Jagr.
It's true.
Fair.
Supposedly Joe Thornton's going there, but I guess we talk about that later.
Yeah. So, what do you think there, C?
Yeah, I don't. Just kind of like thinking top of your head, like, but then also for him to get traded at the deadline, that we're assuming that he's putting up points, and then that's not a guarantee. He's definitely proven himself, because in Florida he was a top 6 guy.
Yeah,
he got those. But is that next team that picks him up? It has to be a close one. Maybe a Dallas kind of makes sense. He's already done that. Boston maybe, but then again, I think they're not really hanging on to anybody anymore, and I think that's kind of the whole NHL. You could just see like Arizona letting go to Shane Doan.
Yeah,
they really had it just time.
If you're over 27, you're getting shipped out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the reality.
So see, you're you got dropped when you were a kid, and you're a Red Wing fan. You're the GM. Who's your free agent pickup for the Wings?
For the Wings?
For the Wings. Yeah, you're the GM. Or do you just start a new haul?
I would just start fresh if I was the Wings.
Because I know you were not happy with a certain Peter Mrazek last year.
Oh, yeah, because he was awful. He was awful. And then Howard plays out of his mind for 3 games and then pulls his hamstring every other game. So, I don't know. They've neglected the back end for so long.
I heard today that they're going after Trevor Daley.
I heard that too.
Yeah, that's okay, but even that's not a game-changing piece that they need.
Tell the Blackhawks.
If anyone they're looking at, and I don't think there is anybody on the market for the Red Wings that makes them good now. So they would have to definitely look at the younger age. Shattenkirk's 28, but that's still, to me, that's too old for them.
Too much money too.
Yeah, he's going somewhere big.
Bringing in a guy that's going to make a difference. I look at some of the younger D like Nesterov, that just finished up with Canadians, who showed some promise there, and maybe even like a Glenn Denning. He's been moved around quite a bit, but they got to look at something, adding a younger D that maybe has promise. I don't think there's anybody there, even then when they do add a defenseman, that's going to make a difference for them lately. So,
24-year-old Colton Parayko's on the market.
Is he? He's a UFA?
He's a UFA.
He's a UFA? I thought he was an RFA.
No, it says UFA right here.
There's no way they get rid of him. There's no way.
No, I'm on Spot Rack right now.
Who?
They're not wrong.
St. Louis? Let's check Cap Friendly. They're a little bit,
I don't
Don't check my sources, you dick. Yerky Yoki Paka.
He is an RFA.
It says UFA.
I would believe Cap Friendly 100% of the time. He's an RFA who's arbitration eligible. So
shit.
He is in the driver's seat there.
I don't know.
Is that one of those they could put an offer sheet out for him?
Probably, yeah.
But I think St. Louis, unless it's absolutely ridiculous, they'll match it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would not want to get rid of him. I mean, he's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a bomb, too, from the point.
Yeah. Speaking
What
of...
What do you guys think about the hometown Hawks? What's the move?
Honest to God, as soon as this Hossa debacle is all cleared up and the Hawks know what they can do and what they can't do, I think then we'll understand. But I think...
we can only go based on what we're seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm seeing is
if it goes
Isamov and Kruger are getting shipped out.
If it goes in the Hawks' favor, I think Galchenyuk's a big look. I think Gagne is going to be a big look. I was excited when I saw they were going after him potentially.
I like the Gagne thing. I've been saying that for years.
Well, him and Kane are yin and yang almost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't so much like. That's the connection thing. That's one of those junior things that I don't know that it always pans out once we get to the NHL. But when they were looking for a second line center for the longest time, I was like, why not look at Gagne? He's a kind of a low risk guy, especially when he was in Edmonton. Low risk with a high reward. If he didn't work out, then you just tip him off.
Yeah.
And finally, he kind of figured it out. Last year in all places, Columbus.
Yeah, no shit.
That's stupid, but he found a way to do it. And I don't know, I think I was reading today, he's a little bit better in the face-off shot than Anisimov. And now this is all, granted, if the Hawks are making a bunch of moves, which they have to do in order to get this guy, he's going to get pretty good money. I like that move for them.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's the way I feel. It's like with Gagne, it's like, why not take the risk? Like, it's low risk, obviously, like you said, and it's low risk to the point where, what if they get that magic back that they had in juniors? And if they do, that's great for the Hawks.
But
if they don't, I mean, what, they lose maybe like 1.5 maybe if they pay him that.
Well, here's what I'm asking: is it really low risk? Because I'm looking at what his last contract was. He made 4.8.
He's not making that now. He's not worth that at all.
But how much of a discount? Like, I mean, how much is he
lucky
to come off?
He's lucky if he gets 1.5.
Not 4.8, but I'm also saying though, is it going to be enough coming off that it's reasonable and doable for the Hawks to take that risk?
He's lucky if he gets 1.5, if that.
You're a huge cut.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. He's playing third, fourth line with Columbus. I mean, he's lucky if he gets third, second line maybe. He's going to get second power play with Kane. I mean, for first power play. He's going to get that action, but it's like he's not going to touch past the second line.
I'm saying he's going to make 2.5 and between 2.5 and 3.
Nah.
I think that's what he'll end up.
I
doing.
feel like Bowman's going to do something stupid like that.
He shouldn't because
2.5.
he's not worth
He's gonna
that.
give him
Yeah.
a $6 million, 8-year, full no trade clause, and
No
and
trade,
his,
no move.
and his own restaurant in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't put it past Bowman, but but that's the thing. It's like he's not worth that at all. Like he knows he's dropped a lot, and Tortorella basically benched him a couple games, if that. And it's like he's lucky if he gets. I would say the most he's getting $2 million.
Can you imagine him, Kane, Taze in the shootout 1, 2, 3?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Gagne in the shootout's fucking sick.
I wouldn't use the Torts benching as much of a thing. I think Torts has benched every single one of his players.
That's
at one
definitely
point.
true.
he bench side.
Yeah.
Too. I mean,
That's
that was
true.
a big thing.
Yeah.
So you're a Kovalchuk guy. So what do you think of the news that he may not be taking his talents back to the NHL? He might be staying in Russia. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, he's gonna go, and he's proven it before. He's gonna go where the money is. I'd love to see him back in the NHL. When he was here, he was a top 5 player in the league. What do you do if you're in an NHL team? He's such a wild card for anybody to take.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I wonder.
But
I'm curious what he's asking for from NHL teams. I don't think I've seen anything
Yeah.
about him. What he's been asking.
no, I haven't either. I've just seen the prospective teams, and it was like Columbus was one of them. I'm like, he's not gonna like playing for Torres.
Hell no.
Oh no.
Hell no.
No,
And then
he.
he's talking about what was the other team? Canadians?
Yeah, I heard Montreal because they wanted him with Radulov.
I heard Florida because he said Florida and he said New York. Those were 2 teams that he said.
I'm really curious about Florida. Does he
could
think he
see-
just
I
run the
could
show
actually-
there?
I could see him in New York. For some reason, I could see him fitting there, and it's like I would want him on the Hawks,
Oh, hell no.
Were they
but it's like I feel like New York would take the risk.
New York Rangers? Were they talking?
I believe so. Yeah.
Wow. The only out of those teams, the only one I could see would be the Panthers, which would still, I mean, that doesn't replace.
What's the attraction for him there, though?
I
Just
mean,
money?
Isn't he buddy with Yager too?
And he could be he goes down there, he's a star,
Yeah.
But is that a good mix for that locker room? Probably not.
No.
But a
They
guy
got
like
a
that
pretty-
wants a spotlight. I
I
feel
think-
like in New York he's gonna get that spotlight. Like he's
I think the
on
only
Broadway,
place he's
I
gonna
don't
get.
know.
Madison Square
I think
Garden.
Vegas might be the one place that he truly 100% gets that spotlight that he's looking for.
But they don't want him.
I know.
They're trying to build. They're trying to build.
I don't know.
young guys.
I've heard
This whole
reports.
Vegas thing has only started over the past 2-3 years, and he's been gone for, 5?
Yeah.
So they probably don't even know who he is.
I mean, I was reading that Vegas was reaching out actively to Washington about Ovechkin, and they were actually very interested in Kovalchuk too.
Wow.
I'm going to hate Vegas. I could just feel it in my heart that I'm going to hate Vegas.
Why? You can't.
Because just the team that they're assembling right now, they're just a bunch of douchebags. I'm gonna be upset with them.
I mean, I already bought their hat, so it's like I have to.
I know,
I
you're
have to
wearing it
like
right
them.
now.
I have to
Yeah.
like them. Like, but that's the thing. Like, I think they're gonna be a good team. Like, obviously, you have your issues with them, but I'm totally fine with them right now.
I'm staying with them because they claim that those white and gold gloves are gone, but yet they have their prospect camp this week, and they are
Because they can't get
still
new gloves right
rocking.
away.
Yes, they realize that they're NHL. They're not
Those
junior
practice
team.
jerseys are pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I like the practice jerseys.
Yeah.
I mean, the gloves aren't that bad with the white jerseys in practice, but after
I
that, they're gonna be
think-
gross.
I turned out and I saw the gloves. I actually kind of like the gloves. I'm coming around on them a little bit. With,
I wish Nolly was.
Have
here
you
now.
been talking to Have you been talking to Joe? Are you?
I think there's enough gold in there, and you got to be different. You got to set yourself apart a little bit. They could easily went with black gloves with a little gold trim. Why not try something a little different?
What if they were white skates?
It's the whole white setup.
Jeez. I feel like they only look good, the gloves, only with the white jerseys. Because, like, I'm watching them on, like, Instagram and, like, all kinds of stuff like that. And during, like, their camp, it looks good with the white jerseys. When they're wearing the black jerseys,
Not so good.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
white and the gold looks good with the whites, and when they wear the black jerseys,
Gold and white.
Yeah.
they shouldn't wear those.
Yeah.
They shouldn't wear those. But
So, what's your problem with their roster?
They just got a bunch of goons. I feel like they're just going to be dropping the gloves all the time and taking cheap shots, and I'm going to get real fucking pissed.
what's wrong with that?
What?
Yeah, I know. You got in a fight in men's league today with a 19-year-old
I didn't
kid.
get into a fight. I mean, the kid's like 16. He had to come in or whatever.
I don't know. Everybody's so excited about what this team is going to look like, and I feel like they're just going to be a bunch of bruisers, which is great, old-time hockey, and that's
Yeah.
fine. But I feel like I'm just going to get, like, I don't know,
Might sell tickets.
let down, I guess is the word.
They're gonna sell tickets because they're gonna be giving every NHL team a 40-second home game, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, look at all the people that are gonna be. Like, I mean, look at us. We were talking about before the schedule came out. All right, when the Hawks go to Vegas, who's down to go? Like, we
Exactly.
were all like.
I'm excited to see what the LA Vegas crowd looks like, the Anaheim Vegas crowd.
Arizona.
Well, Arizona doesn't have any fans, but
All their friends might be in Vegas. Though.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how it pans out. Like,
Yeah.
like they're a fresh new team, and like I want them to do well. Like I do. Like I already called them making the playoffs. That's just me. But it's besides the point.
I just want them to do well, so the NHL will be like, you know what? Let's go, Nordiques. Get ready.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's the whole point of the expansion draft. And how it's set up is the way that it is for that team to be competitive right away,
Yeah.
which I think they're capable of doing. Now you definitely got to make some right moves in the next couple of years to do a kind of like a Florida Panthers thing where you end up in the Cup final. What was it? A year after the
Yeah.
expansion draft.
Yeah.
That's true.
They're not a complete team, but the expansion draft is definitely portrayed the way that it is, and it plays out that way, so that team can be competitive, get the fan base up, and go from there. So
Yeah.
The biggest thing they have going against them right now is that they have the GM that traded Forsberg for Erat.
That's true.
Guys, it's in the past.
I think he's learned from his mistake though.
It's in the past.
So
I feel like
that's-
Although
I
he
do
did
feel
pick
like
Mark
now-
Mathot over Bobby Ryan, so
Yeah,
we're
that's
still
true.
confused.
Yeah. I feel like he hasn't made bad picks. He picked a lot of D, which I love.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's traded a couple too.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
like
that's why he knew every team is looking for D in this league. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
stock up.
I
And get
feel
those
like
draft picks.
I feel like their offense is going to be young, and they're trying to go and which that's the way the NHL is going now. You see Pittsburgh's last two cups, so it's like I feel like he's trying to go young with the offense, and he's hoping it pans out, but I don't know. We're gonna
I
see.
see a lot
Yeah.
of 1-0, 2-1 games in Vegas' first season.
I think against Arizona they might put up some.
Their defense is going to Mark Andre.
I feel like they're
going
gonna pump Arizona.
But I mean, you got Hjalmarsson and OEL in the back end. I mean, they might not pump him as much.
Cool.
Yeah,
so for
maybe.
20 minutes of the game, they're not scoring.
Yeah.
That's true.
Arizona's making a push.
That's what I'm
They-
saying.
they-
I agree.
They without a coach, without a captain,
I'll
without a
believe-
hockey ops.
I'll believe
Who
it when I see it,
cares?
though. Arizona's always making this push, and every year it ends.
Just
and-
you wait. Just you wait.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you guys are taking into fact the move that they made was to take advantage of a weakened division. They feel like.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I'm just
Yeah.
saying I'll believe it more when I see it, kind of thing, because like there's been this talk and buzz around Arizona before that they're taking advantage, they're making these big moves, and then it flops and they
Yeah.
do something stupid. I hope
But
what I would love to see Arizona do good.
I would.
What was their big moves the past couple of years? I don't really think they made. I think they
They traded Paul Bissonnette. That was a big move. Not in their favor, but
They put in a young core with a couple guys up the middle. I think Strom and Dvorak are ready for the next step in their.
hey, drop that
path.
Dvorak name there, coach.
I didn't say nothing. I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
I think they built the young core around there, and then you had Stepan, Hammer, and Ranta, who seems primed, ready for a number one
Yeah.
job. They're definitely going for it now. I think they view LA as just getting older. And then, San Jose, same thing, getting older. They're not, I don't see them being much of a threat. It depends on what's going on, but I think they're pushing within the next year or two to kind of take over that division.
Let me ask you this too: do you think that some of these moves and the way they did it, like Doan and their coach and all this, do you think that players, free agency, they might be like, you know what, I really don't know how I feel about how they're running there. I mean, do you think that that's gonna steer people away in free agency coming Saturday, or do you think that's just people will see it as business moves?
No, I think it was time, especially the Doan move. I actually really like the move, regardless of how long he's been there, and obviously a face for the franchise. He's old and slow.
Do you think they could have done it a better way, though?
I mean, how else? No matter which way you did it, how else was that reaction to the fans?
The way I see it is, no matter how you do it, it's going to look bad. I mean, the guy's been there for 20 years. I mean, it's going to look bad. But at the same time, it's like their young core is just so good. Like, they got Domi. I mean, there's
Duclair,
Dvorak.
Lots of D's.
Exactly. And then they
dropping some D's on that bitch.
They added Hjalmarsson, and which adds like a ton of like veteran experience in the back end.
Yeah.
So it's like they're ready, I feel like. And I feel like they're gonna make some moves this year.
They have just under $23 million in cap space too.
So they could really make a push for somebody.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole. I think that's the whole point of their direction was to, whether getting rid of Doan or getting rid of the coach or, picking up Hammer, picking up Stepan. You envision your top three centers being Dvorak, Strome, and Stepan, which, every NHL team I think is trying to build around the middle. You had a guy like Hammer who's had, but if he's 3 Stanley Cups, that's huge. That's huge. They're trying to take advantage of a Pacific division that's not getting any younger, besides maybe the Ducks.
Last question: Arizona. 5 years from now, are they still in Arizona, or are they moved?
I don't know. That's too tough.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
I think they're moving. I think they're gonna move. Like, I know that Bettman wants to keep having them there, and he finds a way to make it stay there. But I think
Vegas could be the nice replacement for that West Coast team.
Yeah, I would say maybe I'm gonna give it 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. 3 years. 3 years they'll be out of there, and they'll move to
Quebec.
Not 1.6 years.
You never know.
Yeah.
I think they would move up north. I think they'll take that Seattle spot. And then, but I think that if they truly do get good in the next couple seasons and they start putting up, this will be a good indicator if they're going to survive out there.
Yeah.
Because if they're putting up and they're a competitive team and they're still not getting the attendance, that might be time to move them.
No offense to the whole Seattle thing, but I just don't see hockey working out there. I just don't. I know that there's a lot of surrounding cities around there.
They're really pushing for it, though.
I know they are.
Yeah.
And I could see, I just don't see it there. I just don't see hockey working out there. But they also said that about football, too, and it worked out.
Yeah.
Not to bring up football, because I don't like football.
They want that true Vancouver rivalry.
Exactly.
That's what they're really pushing for.
And it's just I just don't see it for some reason. I mean, when it happens, of course I'll see it. But it's right now, I can't envision a team being in Seattle. But you never know.
Hey, Chris, before we let you go, I have one more question for you. A little while ago, we had a debate, Team Nolly or Team Poets, about whether you pay your goalie a shit ton of money. I can't remember what team were you on? I can't remember.
What team?
Yeah, what team were you? Team Nolly or Team Poets in that debate?
I can't even remember. I'm pretty sure.
You asshole! I did this for a reason. You said you were Team Poets.
Yeah. Dude.
What was?
The debate was whether or not Montreal should pay Carey Price $10 million, whether you should pay a goalie a butt ton of money like that. McDavid money.
Was this dollar beer night at Coach's Corner? I don't know.
All right, so it was great having you on. You're the absolute worst. I'm pissed at you now. I'm pissed.
Team Poets, dude. How do you not pay Carey Price whatever he wants?
It's a bold strategy to go with this when Nolly's not here to
Put
his input out
You
there.
know what?
Yeah, that's
that
ballsy.
was kind of a plan. I'm not gonna lie.
That's ballsy. Nolly, I'm on your side. Fuck the goalies.
All right, Chris. Hey, thanks, bud. I'll see you later.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks, Chris.
God bless Chris Cimoch. Team Poets. Team Poets.
That was a low blow move. You gotta at least let Nolly defend himself with that.
Nolly, I'm on your side on this one. You
He'll
should
listen.
never take goalies.
He'll listen.
over defensemen.
You know, I'm not worried about
What's
it.
the over under on that? We're gonna get text blown up from Nolly. Bullshit. Flipping out about.
Yeah, he's not gonna be happy with me. I don't think. But you know, that's a fight for another day.
I would say it's worth it.
I think it was worth it.
Yeah.
I think so.
Even though I don't agree with you, it's still worth it.
Hey, thanks.
Mhm.
Thanks. Tice, it was nice having you on, bud.
Thanks, guys.
Much
It was
better
a
than
pleasure.
usual.
I'm looking forward to that 16th episode, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
might have to
it's-
give you a call.
I think we just skip over 16. We just go right to 17.
That doesn't even make sense. Why would you do that?
We could put up a blank episode. It's like 30 seconds. Of
Like a
just
rerun?
nothing. Yeah.
Let's put a
We'll do
rerun on.
16 will be a recap episode. So, free agency Saturday.
It's gonna be a big day. It's gonna be a big day.
I'm
I think.
thinking.
I'm hoping
we're-
there's some great moves.
Unfortunately, I think we're only going to have one show next week.
Yeah, probably.
With the holiday and all that. And I got family coming in, so I'll be going to Michigan. So,
Onto the lake house.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we'll be definitely have a lot to talk about that episode.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for being around for episode 13. The Zhamnov.
Zhamnov.
The Zhamnov pulling off the Forsberg move. God bless him. All right, for Poets, Dice, and Jarom.
Till next time.
See you later, boys.
Stepping
girls.
up.
Follow the guys on Twitter at WCBP, on Instagram, WCB Podcast, and like them on Facebook, The Windy City Benders Podcast. The Windy City Benders Podcast.